Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. I'm on my way to the second funeral in 2 weeks, I think. I can't even remember anymore, man. Anyways, I'm on my way to my grandmother's funeral. Found out a couple days ago that my son had COVID. So I'm actually supposed to be in quarantine, so I'm not even going to mingle. I don't have it. I took a test yesterday. I took 2 tests yesterday. A rapid test, and I took the other test, and that one hadn't come back yet. But so the rapid test was negative. I feel pretty good. I had a booster, December 31st, New Year's Eve. I had a booster, Moderna booster. So I feel good. That booster had me feeling pretty bad. I mean, so maybe that maybe that gave me some kind of superpower. I don't know, but. You know, they say with the Omicron, it's hard to be in the same house with a person and not catch COVID. I don't have it. I do have a little cough. I do have a little indigestion, but other than that, I feel pretty good. But anyways, I'm on my way to my grandmother's funeral. She passed away Monday, and you want to talk about some pain. You want to talk about some genuine pain. A type of pain I had never felt before in my life. Because if you have a good grandmother, if you have a decent grandmother, you're going to feel some kind of way. But my grandmother was above and beyond. She was, I said this before, she raised 12 kids. Her husband died when my mom was in the 10th grade, and my mom is let me see, my mom she is the 4th oldest, and so there's 8 more after my mom, and she raised 12 kids by herself, man. And she, for the majority of her life, she cleaned homes. Not cleaned homes. Well, she did that too, but she took care of elderly people. She did that all the way up until she was in her mid-70s. She was in I remember my wife, and I had a wife. I had a wife and kids, and my grandmother was still going to work taking care of old people. She was still taking care of elderly people when she was 75, 76. I remember this. She was still going to work. Very strong woman who grew up in South Carolina, rural South Carolina, and she experienced racism. She told me some stories about her. She told me stories about her having to walk to school, and this group of white boys used to mess with her every time she would walk past their house. And she said one time, they had a wild horse, and that horse would always buck and jump. And one time that horse got out of the gate of these racist white boys' yard. The horse was fenced in back then. I don't know. She said the horse took off running after her, and she had to run and run. My grandmother had so many stories, man. It was funny, but at the same time, I couldn't imagine. She said when she was a little girl, she had to do men type work. She had to plow the field, come home from school, and plow the field with a mule. And I'm thinking to myself, plow a field? I can't even imagine plowing a field right now with a plow, with a tractor. She said she had to do it with a mule, and she had one mule. Her dad had got this mule for a discount because the mule had killed somebody. And I forget what the mule name was. But she said the mule had killed the guy, so they got rid of the mule. My great-grandfather got it. And she had to plow the field with that mule. She had so many stories, man. So many stories. And I got 45 years of wisdom from this lady. And I And in a sense, I'm proud of her because she transitioned. Nobody's gonna live forever, but if you ever had a loved one that you cared so much about that you didn't know how you were gonna function, that's how I felt when she passed away. That when I got that news that she passed away. So I'm just letting you guys know, if you have somebody special like that in your life, be it an older person, an elder person, one of your elders, or one of your peers, or a child, somebody that you just absolutely adore and love and have all the respect for. It could be a friend. It don't have to be a family member, but whoever that person is, cherish that person in your life, because you never know, man. Now, with my grandmother, I can't really say that I didn't spend time with her, because I would go up there. I would try to go up there at least once a month and sit with her and just talk and watch cowboy pictures. And I would take her some fish sandwich from McDonald's or whatever she wanted. She was up there in age, but my grandmother just ate anything. I mean, she lived to be 90 years old, but she would eat any her favorite thing was KFC, fried chicken, McDonald's. That's what she wanted. I got an aunt that's 96 right now, and she eats the same way. My aunt told me one time, she said, "Yeah, I normally get up around 12 o'clock every night and get me a snack." But the experts tell you it's not good. It's not good to eat at night. It's not good for you. This lady's 96 years old. Now, she just had a stroke recently. But according to my brother and everybody, she's doing better than she was before. She's gained weight. She's doing better now. So I don't know what kind of genes that she has. I mean, this is one strong woman. My grandmother had 12 kids. 12. I keep hearing, my mom has said before that she had more than 12. My mom has said that she had I don't know. She said 16, but I don't know how true that is. But she said she definitely had more than 12, and she lost one in particular. But I don't know. I don't know. You know how it is in the black family. We don't really discuss these type of things. Maybe I'll get some more answers today. Right now it's 50 degrees outside. It's not bad. They're talking about snow upstate. But yeah, she's I wrote a little reflection, I guess you can say, about my grandmother. I don't know if I'm gonna read it, because technically I'm supposed to be in quarantine. My test came back negative. But I don't feel comfortable being around everybody, and I don't feel like, I feel fine, but I don't feel comfortable being around people and talking too much when you got older people out here and things like that. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm going to the funeral. It's 10:35 right now. The funeral starts at 11. I'll be there in a little bit. I didn't go to the wake because of that reason. Yesterday I was getting tested for coronavirus all day long. It took 2-3 hours just to get the slow test, and then I come to find out my sister had a rapid test. So she had the actual rapid test from the hospital, because my sister used to be in the medical industry. And so my sister, she's always getting some kind of hookup. I mean, it's the actual test the same test that you would see at a clinic. I'm like, how'd she get this? But my sister got all kind of hookups, Shout out to my sister, Sheena. That's an inside joke, but she'll get it. Yeah, and when she actually had coronavirus, I saw her on Monday. And when I saw her, I told her yesterday, I said, girl, you was looking pretty bad when I saw you on Monday. Because, when people actually have coronavirus, they look different. So I was looking in the mirror yesterday like, oh shit, I got it. Because I was looking different. I was looking pretty, you remember Donald Trump had the debate with, the last debate with Joe Biden. Donald Trump was looking like a monster. He was looking like he was about to change into something else on stage. And I'm looking at him like, what's wrong with this dude? This dude is like, he's normally orange, but today he's looking real orange. And just sweaty looking. That's what people look like when they get coronavirus. They just look different. They look like they're about to change into a monster or something, And so I was looking in the mirror yesterday. I'm like, man, I got it. I know I got it. I got it. Because I was just looking weird. So I was joking about with my sister. I said, I didn't tell her, but I was thinking to myself, when I saw you on Monday, you was looking like Donald Trump. Oh, man. But I feel pretty good this morning. I got a little cough. But I got a lot of stress right now. My mom was in the hospital. My grandma just passed away. Like a week ago, my cousin passed away. Well, we had her funeral. My older brother, infant, died. It's a lot, man. But I'm still going, man. And I still firmly believe that to every action, there's a reaction, or there's a flip side to everything. To every coin, you got heads and tails. You got up, you got down, you got yin, you got yang. Right now, I'm going through some stuff. Not good stuff. And it's not just me. It's a large majority of my family going through stuff. And I urge anybody out there who's going through some stuff right now, just realize that it's not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. And like I said, I was very conflicted with my grandmother's passing and all of that. I mean, I was crushed when I got the news from my sister. My sister, she called me up. I was on the toilet. She called me up, and every time she called, I'm always joking. She said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm just nothing, just sitting on the toilet." And she giggled a little bit, but I could tell she wasn't feeling good. And I was like, "Oh man, this ain't good news." And then as we're talking, she's asking me, "You hear anything from St. George side?" I'm like, "St. George side? What are you talking about?" And she said that it was more confirmation that something bad had happened. As I'm talking to her, trying to pry the information out of her. Not really trying to pry it, because I had the feeling, because I think she said something about, "Did you hear about grandma?" And at that point, you're like wishing, praying, hoping, like, oh man. You kind of wishing and praying that you didn't hear what you thought you heard. And then my brother started calling me. I see his name pop up on the call ID. I'm like, oh my God. This is not going to be good. So then she finally said, grandma passed away. So I was like, oh, okay. I hang up the phone, and I go and talk to my brother. He tells me the same thing. I'm like, okay. Then I walk into the kitchen, because I'm trying to figure out, should I go now or should I wait? She's already gone, but I still got to go up there just to be with the family. So I'm thinking that. And then I'm like, going in, I'm like, well, let me tell my wife what's going on, And my wife has no idea what's going on, so she's like, she's nagging me about something, but it's not really nagging. She was like, I hate to nag. I can't remember what it was, but she said something. I think it was something about cleaning the stove or something like that. But she wasn't really nagging. She was just, just letting me know that I didn't clean the stove off or something like that. And then, so I'm trying to tell her what's going on. It's like I just completely broke down. But she thought I was like playing around, because I joke around a lot. She was like, you're not convincing. So I went and got the keys, because I was going to go up there. And I just started howling in the kitchen, and she came and ran around the corner, and she was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And she just started hugging me and is like trying to get the information out of me, and I just started telling her what was going on, and she was just like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." You know, things like that, man. When you have a loved one who is that's a good feeling when you have somebody to hold you when you need to be held. You know what I mean? I was still trying to be a man, still trying to be hardcore, you know, but I couldn't. It just started coming out, and that was a lot of stress. It wasn't just my grandmother's death. It was a lot of stress that came out of me at that moment, you know. Thinking about my mom, my cousin, you know, all these different things just started coming out of me. And if you don't have somebody in your life that can comfort you when you need comforting, you know, I'm not saying you might need to go out there and get one, but I mean, I'm just letting you know it's good to have somebody there when you need it, because man, that was a very painful moment for me. You know, when my aunt died, when she passed away, I was at a hospital doing a PM. And it just so happened that I was having a very rough day because I couldn't get the instrument I couldn't fix it. I couldn't figure out what was going on. It was a rough day, and plus I'm about 2 hours away from the house. I was in Dillon. And I just saw a raccoon on a tree. And my cousin, no, I think it was my wife. Yeah, it was my wife. She sent the text saying I'm sorry because she thought I had already heard the news, I guess. And oh, man, at that moment I'm trying to wrap up what's going on there in the lab, and I'm having a rough day as it is. I'm trying to wrap up what's going on in the lab, and I finally got everything wrapped up. I didn't get the instrument fixed. I'm tearing up, trying to get the words out to the customer, let them know that, hey, I'm going to have to come back. I'm going to have to send somebody else back because I just found out my aunt passed away. You know, that type of thing. And I get my toolbox, go out to the parking lot. And as I'm getting in my car, I twist my knee. My left knee, as I'm getting in the car. And that hurt a little bit, but then once I sat down, closed the door, that's when it hit me. Bam! Crying, and the pain shot down from my heart all the way to my knee that I had just twisted, and it was just a terrible. Oh. So now my leg is shot. My leg just shot straight out. I can't drive. I'm in so much pain. Now I'm 2 hours away from home, and it's raining on top of all this. And it's nighttime. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to collect myself and somehow get home, you know, because, you know, I hold my aunts. Right, you know, up there, because I remember growing up how much love they gave me, how much protection they gave me. Like that particular aunt, I remember one time I had a splinter in my thumb. And she was trying to get the splinter out, and it was blood. I was a little boy, like 5 years old. She was trying to get the splinter out, and she's kind of making the situation worse. You know, she's kind of picking at it with her nails, and she had a safety pin trying to dig it out, and it was just, it was so horrible. Blood shooting all over the place. But she was in so much pain, trying to get the splinter out of my thumb. I remembered that, and I just thought, man, she was really trying to help me out, her little nephew, because I was like 5 years old. So, you know, a 5-year-old boy, that's a lot of pain to be in. That's something new. You got this thing stuck inside of you, this big piece of wood stuck inside of you, and it was killing me. You know, being a little kid, you don't know what's going on. It's like, oh my God, what is this? You got to get this thing out. But she got it out finally, and then she poured some alcohol on it, made it. Oh man, that was a day. That was a time. That was a time, I'll tell you. But man, it goes back to, if you got that loved one in your life, especially an older person, try to get all that knowledge from them. And it with my grandma, she didn't want to let me go. Whenever I went up there to talk to her, she didn't want me to go. She just wanted me to sit there because she didn't have anybody. A lot of her friends had already passed away. She lived to be 90, but a lot of her friends had already passed away. Her husband had passed away years before then, like over 50 years, I think. 70, I think he died in 73 or 72. Yeah, 72, I think he passed away. So it had already been almost 50 years since her husband had been gone. Her mother passed away in 97. So she didn't, and you know, she, a lot of times she just sat there in her room or laid down in her bed watching TV. She was in a lot of pain, but you still don't want to see, you want them to live forever. You want them to live forever. She was 90 years old. I didn't want to see her go, but, you know. That's what it was. That's what it was. That's what it was. If you got a loved one, you got to be there for them, man. You got to be there for them. An older person or a younger person. I mean, if you got a younger person who might be going through some things, you know, sometimes you just want to talk to them. You got a person in your family who's sick, who's, you know, on their deathbed, or, you know, may have a terminal illness that can potentially take their life. You know, like my aunt, before she passed away on a Wednesday, I think. Saturday before that Wednesday, I was up there, and she had stage 4 liver cancer. I went up there, and she was able to open the door for me. It took her a while, but she was able to open the door, and I got to see her. I got to sit and talk with her for a second. You know, even though she was pretty much teetering on life and death, she was able to open the door and sit with me for a split second. And I got to tell her I love her. And that meant a lot. That meant a whole lot to me. So you gotta treasure those loved ones before. You gotta let them know how much they mean to you and all these different things before they go. Because certain people are like Michael Jordans or Michael Jacksons, or you're only gonna get one grandma like the one I got, one auntie like the one I got, one mom. You're not gonna see anymore. You know what I mean? One mom who's like the best, or one dad who's the best, or one uncle who's the best at what they do, like the best uncle you can imagine. You know, if you got 12 uncles, if you got one who you know for sure, you ain't gonna see another uncle like this. Those are the ones you gotta really, really take lessons from. And you gotta study them to see what makes them the way they are, what makes them tick. You know, my grandmother, it was adversity, I think, that made her the person who she was. Like I said, she had 12 kids. I remember when she first moved, the house that she lived in for over 40 years, around 40 years she lived in this house. This woman actually built this house with her own hands. Like, she had help. She had help from her kids. She had help from male family members and male friends, church members. She had help. But at the same time, the floor plans, the frame, she did a lot of the actual physical work herself. The house is still standing. The house is still sturdy. You know, that says a lot. And it's a block house. It's a cinder block house. I guess she had somebody come in and put the blocks up, but it's a cinder block house. She built. A woman, a black woman, and she was in her 40s or 50s when she did this now. Cause remember, she's 90 years. She lived to be 90, and this house is around 40 years old. Yeah. So she was already in her 50s, late 40s or early 50s when she built this house. You know, that's the type of woman she was. You know, and I mean, I'm going through the town right now, St. George. This is like the local town next to her town. I'm passing the Piggly Wiggly right now, and the first job I've ever had. You can go to any place in this town and mention her name, and people know her. I went to a little store there a couple weeks ago. It was before Christmas, because the last time I saw her was Christmas. It was like a week or so before Christmas. I went to this little store. My mom used to take us to get school clothes, and they, the people, it's a local town, so everybody wants to know who you are. And I told them my name, and she said, Kelly? And she asked me if I'm related to a certain Kelly, and I said, no, I don't think I'm related to this Kelly. She said, well, who's your people? She said, who's your mom? I told her my mom's name, and they said, oh, Thomasina. My grandma's name is Thomasina. My mom's name is Louise. But she said, yeah, I know Louise, your Thomasina daughter, yeah. How's she doing? So she still has a great name for herself. And it was a service to the community. It was cleaning those people's houses. It was taking care of the elderly. All of those things, how she conducted herself, her how we say in the South, her manners, she was a very cordial person, and she passed that on to her kids, to her grandkids. She would always say, money will take you further than anything. I mean, not money. Manners will take you further than anything in life. Manners. Being polite to people, being kind to people, treating people how you would want to be treated. That'll take you further than anything in life. And it's true. It's true. My kids are realizing that now. I got a son in Los Angeles, California, and he told his mom, it's like, people treat him differently from other people, and it's because that they realize in him that he's a respectable person. Like the jobs that he goes on, the management, they look at him differently. They see that he's a leader because of how he treats other people. The respect that he gives other people. And that's a direct reflection of my grandmother. She was a very special person. Now, and I'll say this about my grandmother. My grandmother was a tough lady. She was a tough lady. She had a certain meanness about her. And what I mean by meanness is, look, she raised 12 kids, 4 boys and 8 girls. she had to be at times a certain type of way. And I said that benefited me when I joined the United States Army, because I realized real quick that all the yelling and screaming from the drill sergeants, all the cussing in your face, all that stuff I had already been prepared for, because I had seen it. I had seen it from my grandmother. My grandmother had to wear a lot of hats. She had to wear that drill sergeant hat. She had to wear the hat of the plumber, the electrician, the carpenter. For a long time, she had to do it all. I remember my grandmother working on my uncle's car. Well, she didn't work on the car, but she took the car to get fixed. It was having transmission issues, and she went to take it to get fixed, and she drove it away from the garage. And I remember watching her go through the gears and all that stuff. And then, I was a young kid. I remember her saying, "Oh, this car ain't shifting right." And I'm thinking to myself, how does she know it's not shifting right? Because it was to me, it was driving. It went in reverse. It went to, it drove down the street. It picked up speed, but it wasn't shifting automatically like it should. And so she knew that. As a woman, she knew that. And so she took the car back and told him, "It's not shifting right. I'm not paying you. You're going to have to go ahead and you're going to have to fix this before you get paid," I was impressed by that, because I was impressed by that. Okay, so I'm almost here. Right down the street from the church. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and end this right here. You guys, y'all, if you're liking the content, hit that like, subscribe, share. Like, subscribe, share. Oh man, they got a few cars out here. Got a good little bit of cars out here. Y'all be blessed.